of things that are going to happen, like unsealing indictments and things like that, that is going to happen in the first wave. And this is going to make these individuals, freaking freak out. And they're not going to know what to do. But the declass, the OIG, remember, we need the Mueller report. And we know that Trump is not going to do this until the very end. This will be the last hand he plays. Everything leading up to that, and there's many different countdowns, is going to push the deep state further and further back into the corner. And once they have them exactly where they want, where there's no escape, that's when they're going to hit them hard. And they want these people to panic. I mean, look at Pelosi already. She's saying, okay, it's not worth it. We're not going to impeach. She could have never impeached. There was no crime. There was nothing that Trump was doing wrong. They didn't have the 2/3 vote in the Senate. And they know this. But she knows what's coming. So let's start off with Paul Manafort. He was sentenced to an additional 43 months in prison. Now, originally they thought he was going to get something like between 20 and 34 years or something like that. But right now, his total sentence is about 90 months or 7.5 years. And we need to understand something very important about Paul Manafort. First of all, Paul Manafort was a plant. How do we know this? Well, if we go back to post-1508, Q reminds us that the plants need water. Manafort was a plant in Trump's administration. This post-1508, this was back in June 15, 2018. And it shows Manafort. And below it, Q says plants need water. They put Manafort there on purpose. Remember, a lot of people originally in the Trump administration, it wasn't people that he chose. They told him who he was going to have in his administration. This is why he's been getting rid of people, because most of these people are completely corrupt. But let's move on. Let's move on to post-1774. And on July 31st, 2018, Q says Rod Rosenstein exonerated Manafort for the same charges 8 years ago. This was already known. And remember, if we flash back, Podesta brothers were tipped off to a file the Department of Justice disclosures weeks before Manafort arrested for the same exact crime. So they went ahead and they filed their application for FARA to protect themselves. Manafort, well, it looks like he wasn't that lucky. So we see right now they're trying to play this up. They're trying to make it seem like Manafort has been put into prison because of Russian collusion. Well, there was no Russian collusion. This had to do with crimes way before Trump. Manafort's not a good guy. Now, Pelosi, like we said before, she's saying there's going to be no impeachment. Trump tweeted out the following: I greatly appreciate Nancy Pelosi's statement against impeachment, but everyone must remember the minor fact that I never did anything wrong. The economy and unemployment are the best ever. Military and vets are great, and many other successes. How do you impeach a man who is considered by many to be the president with the most successful first 2 years in history, especially when he has done nothing wrong and impeachment is for high crimes and misdemeanors? This is why they never could have gone through with this. This was just the deep state pushing this propaganda out there to make it seem like they're about to do something. And remember, the Senate was the key. It was the firewall for Trump. So let's move on to the national emergency. Now remember, we need to remember something very important. Democrats and Republicans, a lot of them are not for Trump. A lot of them are corrupt. So just because Trump is with the Republican Party doesn't mean everyone is with him. There are many individuals within the Republican Party that want him out. They don't want him at all. I mean, think about McCain. Think about Rubio. Think about Paul Ryan. Think about the rest. And this is why Trump is out there trying to tell the Republicans, you need to vote on the national emergency. You need to think about it in a certain way. This is what he tweeted out. Republican senators are overthinking tomorrow's vote on national emergency. It is very simple, simply border security, no crime. Should not be thought of any other way. We have a major national emergency at our border, and the people of our country know it very well. And we know that there are certain individuals that are going along with the deep state. Yes, on the Republican side. And Trump is saying, listen, do what's right for America. This is not about sides. This is about protecting the country. But some of these people are so corrupt, they can't see anything past their own corruption. Trump tweeted out the following: Democrats will have a unanimous vote on a 20% issue in opposing Republican senators tomorrow. The Dems are for open borders and crime. Again, he's exposing all these people because every time they vote against stopping criminals from entering the country, stopping drug trafficking, stopping human trafficking, stopping gangs, terrorists, and whatnot, they are showing their true colors, that they don't care what comes into this country. And every time they say, oh no, it's for the newcomers. No, if you are a newcomer, you go through the proper channels. Someone who illegally sneaks into the country is not a newcomer. You don't know anything about them. I wonder if Pelosi and the rest will allow their doors and their gates to be opened to allow these newcomers to come into their homes and sleep in their house. Why do you think they have a wall? Some might not have a physical wall, but they have a door, which is a wall. That is a wall, and you open the wall and you vet the person before you allow them into your home. Isn't that what the United States does? Please go to the entry point. We're now going to vet you. Wait a minute. You're a gang member? You have all these crimes listed against you? You're wanted in your country? Would you let someone into your home with that type of record? No. Do you think any of these individuals would let them in their home with that type of record? No. And I challenge them. If they want illegal immigrants, they want the newcomers, guess what? Why don't we put them in their homes until the courts can go ahead and decide if they belong or not? Do you think they'd go along with that? Absolutely not. You know why? Because they know who they really are. Out in Venezuela, we see Maduro is requesting the assistance of Russia and China to investigate the blackout. And most likely, this was a neocon CIA operation to black out Venezuela, cause chaos, and hopefully smuggle arms into the country or have something else done. We've seen this before. This is nothing new. They're following the same script. And like I said before, Trump, the Patriots, they're monitoring the entire situation. And I do believe they are in the process of getting rid of those operatives within the country, calling back those people that were in the embassy. Actually, if you look at what the CIA and what these intelligence organizations have done across the world, they've done this in many countries. Actually, in Spain, their National Intelligence Center, CNI, and the Spanish police, they've linked a February 22nd attack on the North Korean embassy in Madrid to the CIA. On February 22nd, at approximately 3 p.m., 10 masked men carrying fake weapons broke into the embassy, tied up 8 people, put bags over their heads, and proceeded to beat and interrogate them for 2 hours. One woman was able to escape through a second-floor window, and police were called after a neighbor heard her screaming. When officers arrived at the embassy, a man opened the door, told them that nothing was going on. Minutes later, 2 luxury vehicles sped out of the embassy. According to the report, the getaway cars belonging to the diplomatic mission were abandoned in a nearby street. Now, according to these reports, at least 2 of the 10 assailants have been identified and have connection to the CIA. I wonder what their real motive was in the North Korean embassy. Do you think they were trying to stage something so the talks don't continue with Kim Jong-un? And maybe blame this on South Korea, on who knows who? Maybe. We see out in Syria, the CIA is conspiring with the Islamic State commanders in northeastern Syria, supplying them with fake documents and then transferring them to Iraq. They're getting rid of their paid mercenaries in Syria. They're helping them escape. We know that the CIA, the Obama administration, they helped their paid mercenary army in Syria. And now it's a mop-up operation. They need to get these individuals out of there. And you can see from what is happening around the world, these intelligence organizations, they're responsible for a lot of it. They're responsible for these endless wars that we have been going on for a very long time in Afghanistan, in Syria, in Iraq, in Libya, in Lebanon, in Somalia, in Sudan, Ukraine, you name it. They're responsible. They're the ones who created these ridiculous, endless wars. Let's get into Q's posts, and Q's posted 3035, gave us an FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation, and this is a diagram of the chain of command in the FBI when they were investigating the Clinton email scandal. And Q gave us a link to justice.gov, And this is the Office of the Inspector General, U.S. Department of Justice, Oversight, Integrity, and Guidance, a review of various actions by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Department of Justice in advance of the 2016 election. Q wrote, the Clinton connection. Where are they now? Q is referring to this diagram where it shows Bill Priestab, Randy Coleman reporting to John Glackleone, Michael Steinbach. They report to Andrew McCabe, Mark Giuliano, and those two individuals reported to James Comey. Lisa Page reported to Andrew McCabe, Mark Giuliano. Jim Rybicki was Chief of Staff for James Comey. Jim Baker was the Office of General Counsel, reported to Andrew McCabe, Mark Giuliano. And you can see this is the whole flow chart of the entire thing. So Q says, where are they now? Well, Comey, McCabe, Baker, Rybicki, Priestab, Strzok, and the rest, all fired. Q continued, Lisa Barsumian equals Rod Rosenstein's wife. Yes. Lisa Barsumian equals representing Bill Clinton. Yes. She represented him in a court case. Q gives us the scribd.com document. Assistant Department of Justice Rod Rosenstein's conflict of interest wife represents Clinton in federal court. Q says Mueller with brackets all bold. Connection to Uranium One and Russia? Yes. Gave us a document, congress.gov. This is H3740, Congressional Record, House, April 27th, 2018. Let me read a portion of this. I hoped that because he seemed clearly to be a person who should never have accepted the job of special counsel, that he was recusable. He was not qualified to be the special counsel on anything involving Russia, and certainly not the Trump campaign and Russia. Yet, Rod Rosenstein, as a Deputy Attorney General, who had been involved in the Russia illegal attempts to gain control of U.S. uranium, and they knew that Russia was committing crimes to try to get our uranium, and Mueller was the head of the FBI, and he was the lead law enforcement person overseeing the operation. There was an informant within the system that was providing information to the Justice Department, to Rod Rosenstein and Mueller. Yet, they put the kibosh on the investigation and crimes that were being committed to get U.S. uranium. If they had not, then the sale of U.S. uranium that would end up in the hands of Russia would never have been allowed to go through. CFIUS that approve sales that are sensitive to our security, they surely could never have approved the sale if Rosenstein and Mueller had just been honest and open that there is an investigation to Russia's illegal attempts to get our uranium. But if they had spoken up about that, I don't think there is any question that the Clinton Foundation would have never gotten $145 million in contributions from people involved with the uranium sale. And it is quite likely that Bill Clinton would not have gotten $500,000 to speak for 20 minutes from Russia. The Clinton connection. Pay for play spiderweb. Q. Post 3036. The Gateway Pundit put up report. Attorney General Barr gave Mueller permission to indict Trump's 3 adult children and Jared Kushner. And it went on to say a report at The Spectator on Friday claims dirty cop Robert Mueller met with Attorney General Bob Barr, and the two agreed that President Trump's children should be indicted. The report goes on to say that Special Counsel Robert Mueller and his 13 angry Democrats also want President Trump to be indicted, but that Barr pushed back on this. So Q says, read, drop. This is Mueller in brackets and caps. Sealed indictments installed D.C. prior to Rod Rosenstein loss of power. Sealed indictments, D.C. blockade last resort installed post. Sessions departure and Whitaker assumption. Sealed indictment count, D.C. post Sessions departure. Sealed indictment count, D.C. pre-Whitaker assumption. Power of Barr. Can a sealed indictment be pulled post-filing? Yes. Did POTUS just install a rogue attorney general who allows for the indictment of his children based on false pretenses? Barr Senate vote, 54-45. Do unicorns exist? So the article is saying that Mueller is getting ready to indict Trump's children. There's only one problem with this. Mueller would have to present his case to Barr. He would have to show evidence to back everything up. The problem with this is there is no evidence, and Mueller has nothing to back it up at all. So let's say Mueller did file the indictments in D.C. against Trump's children. Barr would have to take a look at it and follow the rule of law, and he would see that there's no evidence. Most likely Barr would then pull the indictments or send them back to the grand jury. So let's go to Post 2512. Now in Post 2512, it says Mueller will face charges re Uranium One. He's working to save himself. There is no way that he's going to give these indictments over to Barr, and Barr is going to agree to them and say, okay, let's move forward with these. Because Mueller, he is working to save himself right now, and most of the stuff that he's collected is absolutely worthless. And it would never pass any of the checks and balances. And he knows this. Post 3037. Q gives us a Twitter link to Representative Doug Collins. It says, today the link, and he gives us dougcollins.house.gov/page, will be placed in the record so the American people can read the transcript of Lisa Page's interview before the Judiciary Committee. We went over this yesterday, and there's a lot of good stuff in there showing that, yes, Obama, Department of Justice, ordered FBI not to prosecute Hillary Clinton. Let's move on to post 3038. Q says, and these are arrows pointing to the word decide in all of these sentences, decide for yourself, be free from outside opinion. Decide for yourself, be objective in your conclusions. Decide for yourself, be true in your own beliefs. Decide for yourself, be open to following the facts. Decide for yourself, be strong in defending your beliefs. Decide for yourself, be resistant to blindly accepting factless statements. Decide for yourself, be free. Those who attack you, those who mock you, those who cull you, those who control you, those who label you, do they represent you, or do they represent themselves in some form? Mental enslavement, the Great Awakening, freedom of thought, was designed and created not only as a back channel to the public, away from the long-standing mind control of the corrupt and heavily biased media, to endure future events through transparency and regeneration of individual thought, breaking the chains of group think, but more importantly, aid in the construction of a vehicle, a ship, that provides the scattered free thinkers with a starter new social networking platform, which allows for freedom of thought, expression, and patriotism, or national pride, the feeling of love, devotion, and sense of attachment to a homeland and alliance with other citizens who share the same sentiment. When a non-dogmatic information becomes free and transparent, it becomes a threat to those who attempt to control the narrative and or the stable. When you are awake, you can stand on the outside of the stable, groupthink collective, and have free thought. Free thought is a philosophical viewpoint which holds that positions regarding truth should be formed on the basis of logic, reason, rather than authority, tradition, revelation, or dogma. When you are awake, you are able to clearly see. The choice is yours, and yours alone. Trust and put faith in yourself. You are not alone, and you're not in the minority. Difficult truths will soon see the light of day. Where we go one, we go all. Post 3039. Q gives us Representative Jim Jordan tweets. The first one, why did Adam Schiff say that his talks with Michael Cohen were limited to inviting him and allaying any concerns about threats to his family, but not mention the 14 hours his staff spent prepping Cohen before the hearing? Why did Adam Schiff fail to disclose that he met with Glenn Simpson, whose dossier opposition research was funded by the Clinton campaign in Aspen? Why did Adam Schiff falsely claim in his memo that Bruce Ohr hadn't communicated his relationship with Christopher Steele to the FBI prior to the 2016 election? Why did Adam Schiff try to block Congress from learning that Clinton campaign paid for the dossier? Under this, Q says, change you can believe in, forward, greater together. Betting on America, we don't quit. Winning the future, we can't wait. An America economy built to last. Q. Post 3040. Q gives us a meme, and this is all the individuals, Clinton, Obama, Holder, Podesta, Clapper, Lynch, all behind bars, and it says, now that Russia collusion is a proven lie, when do the trials for treason begin? Under this it says, promise made, promises soon to be kept. Has POTUS made a statement, assertion that didn't end up being proven correct? Change we can believe in. When they go low, we go high. Let freedom ring. Let's move on to post 3041. Q says, the unsealing of the first several indictments will bring about unity and change. Change that we can believe in. Returning power to the people. Returning the rule of law to our land. We stand together. We stand together as patriots. Post 3042. Q gives us the video of Trump about draining the swamp. This is when he was running for election. We've seen this many, many times before. And he repeated the link 12 times. Now, if we go back to the previous picture of all these individuals behind bars, and you count the number of people in the picture, it shows 11. But we need to remember, and this is in post 2568, Q told the Anon, add Brennan to the graphic and update. So when you add Brennan in, it's the number 12, and that's how many times Q posted the link. And if you notice, at the end of the YouTube link, it ends with the letter Q. Who signed this post? The president, Q+. Let's move on to post 3043. Q gives us a link to 333RD Revolution, gives us a video link to Hannity, and on top it says Hannity is hashtag QAnon, QArmy, hashtag The Great Awakening, hashtag Where We Go One, We Go All. Take a listen to what Hannity says.
This to come in a two-tier justice system. That's all about to change. Justice, I can tell you and report from my sources tonight, is on the horizon. Stay tuned with us.
Now, under this post, it says justice in all caps. Q. Post 3044. Q gives us a drop, which is 3005. This is the tweet that Trump tweeted out back in March 4th, 2017. And it says, terrible, just found out that Obama had my wires tapped in Trump Tower just before the victory. Nothing found. This is McCarthyism. Under this, Q gives us a Twitter link. And this is to Joe Mo 23. This was at Real Donald Trump, 3/4/2017. Everyone called him crazy. Below is a transcript from Lisa Page. Barack Obama ran a banana republic coup attempt, plain and simple. So under this, gave us this graphic. And here is the transcript from Page. Mr. Ratcliffe, let me move on to the text message on September 2nd of 2016. It's a series of texts that you exchanged with Agent Strzok. And at one point, you text him, yes, because POTUS wants to know everything we are doing. Miss Page, oh yeah, I don't see where it is, but I know what it is. Yeah, Mr. Ratcliffe, okay. And do you know the context of what it is? Miss Page, it is. This is in the context of Mr. Ratcliffe. Well, first of all, so is POTUS. I'm assuming that's Miss Page, President Obama. Mr. Ratcliffe, President Obama? Okay. Q says, do you believe in coincidences? This is a confirmation that Obama wiretapped Trump Tower and was spying on Trump. So an Anon starts to pull all of this together with a graphic. Goes back to to Trump's tweet on March 12, 2019, and circles presidential harassers. This points to Obama will be indicted. Then this is pointed to post 3041. The unsealing of the first several indictments will bring about unity and change that we can believe in. And then the arrow points to Obama behind bars in post 3040. And down below, Q wrote, change we can believe in. When they go low, we go high. This is then pointed to what Michelle Obama said. And this is on CNN Politics. Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Slogan absolutely still stands. Then, the Anon points to post 3039. Change you can believe in. Forward. Greater together. Betting on America. We don't quit. Winning the future. We can't wait. An America economy built to last. Let's move on to post 3045. Gives us a Twitter link to Representative Ratcliffe. And the Twitter link says, Lisa Page confirmed to me under oath that the FBI was ordered by the Obama Department of Justice not to consider charging Hillary Clinton for gross negligence in the handling of classified information. Gives us that part of the transcript. Mr. Ratcliffe, okay, so let me, if I can, I know I'm testing your memory, but when you say advice you got from the department, you're making it sound like it was the department that told you you're not going to charge gross negligence because we're the prosecutors and we're telling you we're not going to. Miss Page, that is correct. Under this, Q says, the tarmac meeting, days later. This is in brackets bold, James Comey. No charges are appropriate. How did Hillary Clinton obtain SAP special access programs on her personal servers? Access to SAP, SCI, is recorded in a local access register or in a computer database. Where are the records? IDEN of specific SAP SCI on the server provides a target roadmap to review access logs to that specific program. What process and or SEC clearance would be required to walk away terminal clear with SAP SCI material electronically? Did a foreign state gain access to the server? Yes. Did a foreign state gain access to the SAP SCI material on the server? Yes. And Annan explains. Taking classified out of the SCIF physically requires you have documentation and a secure means to transfer it. If you want to bypass the security protocols, then that info must be cloned, diverted real-time to an off-site server. From there, anyone could access it, pay to play, or just walk in with an external hard drive and take what they wanted. Either way, you must have someone, an IT pro, set all that up for you, foreign or domestic. And you need to have special clearance. Where would this come from? From the top level. Q gives us an article from The Hill. FBI contradicts Trump claim that China hacked Clinton's private email server. This was on August 29th, 2018. Let me read a little portion of this. The FBI said that it had found no evidence about Trump's claim that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's private email server was compromised by hackers working for the Chinese government. Well, it wasn't really hacked. They had access. In a brief statement, the Bureau said the FBI has found no evidence that the servers were compromised. The statement follows the president's tweets earlier Wednesday claiming without evidence that Clinton's emails had been hacked by China. This is what Trump tweeted out back then. Hillary Clinton's emails, many of which are classified information, got hacked by China. Next move better be by the FBI, Department of Justice, or after all of their other missteps, Comey, McCabe, Strzok Page, or FISA, dirty dossier, their credibility will be forever gone. He also tweeted out, report just out, China hacked Hillary Clinton's private email server. Are they sure it wasn't Russia? Just kidding. What are the odds that the FBI, Department of Justice, are right on top of this? Actually, a very big story. Much classified information. Now, the intelligence community's inspector general had found that a copy of every email on the server was being sent to a third party, and that a third party was a known Chinese public company that was involved in collecting intelligence for China. Let's continue. Q says, if the top FBI chain of command for the mid-year investigation were all fired, does one conclude the investigation was not conducted properly? Yes, we know that the investigation really didn't happen. Does one conclude all statements made by the FBI, think no hack of server as a single example, could be false? Q then says, take a moment and think about what that means. Gives us kill brackets and then the word treason, Q. And if we go back to what Trump said in his tweets and what the FBI said, Trump is saying that the servers were hacked. So if the servers were hacked, it means that China hacked into Clinton's server without her knowledge. But the FBI has found no evidence that the servers were compromised. It seems that Trump just trapped the FBI and Clinton. So if the servers weren't hacked, they weren't compromised, how did China get the information? Were they given access? Well, we know parts of the emails were sent to China, and it looks like Trump trapped the FBI. Remember, the FBI back then was protecting Hillary Clinton. So they had to say, because Trump was out there saying that China hacked the server, they had to say it wasn't hacked. So guess what? There was nothing taken. So he actually trapped them in this case. And it's going to work in his favor later on. Post 3046 gives us everything to 3045 and gives us the FBI chain of command of who is involved. Remember, all these people, the protection of Hillary Clinton, completely gone. Let's move on to post 3047. Gives us a Twitter link to Real Donald Trump. This says, the just revealed FBI agent Lisa Page transcripts make the Obama Justice Department look exactly like it was, a broken and corrupt machine. Hopefully justice will finally be served. Much more to come. Q then says trolling is fun, panic is good, panic increases the rat population, Page shill brothers majority of time on top of POTUS Twitter feed. How is that mathematically possible given volume? Coordination between shills and Twitter. At Jack, pointing an arrow, he or she who laughs last. Nobody is safe. Basically saying they have all the shills and paid trolls out there hammering Trump at every turn and telling Jack Dorsey, we'll see who has the last laugh. Let's move on to post 3048. Q gives us post 1945 and post 1906, and these have to do with Xbox Live going down. And we know that they used Xbox with their texting feature to pass messages back and forth, and once Q posted something about this, all of a sudden, Xbox Live went down. Now, what's very interesting is that this is coming out of the mainstream media. Q put up a link from USA Today. Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, they all went down today. And Q says, how much more obvious can any of this be? Think LifeLog dump. So it looks like there's a lot of records that are being dumped on these platforms, and it might have brought both of these down. Also, they might be running tests to see if they can shut it down and stop the communication for when the news comes out. But it's very interesting that all of a sudden this just happened. Now, I want to leave you with Dianne Feinstein. This is a tweet from The Dirty Truth, and this is about military tribunals of U.S. citizens. And The Dirty Truth tweeted out the following: military tribunals of U.S. citizens has come up in another hearing. It really sounds like people at Senator Feinstein are starting to get worried. Take a listen to how panicked she sounds.
The trial by military commission is appropriate for U.S. citizens accused of terrorism in the United States?
I don't know that I ever specifically opined on that question.
I don't know whether you did or not. I'm asking you the question.
I don't think it would be appropriate for me to answer that kind of hypothetical. That's something that could come before the courts.
Well, I'm not sure that's a valid reason that a trial by a military commission for a U.S. citizen accused of terrorism could be held by a military commission as opposed to a court. So you're saying you don't have an opinion on that subject?
No, I'm saying that, that kind of a claim that a military commission would be inappropriate is something that someone who was contesting that procedure would then file in a court, and I don't think it would be appropriate for me as a nominee to a court to opine on that.
Okay,
open question.
Let me move on.
And she does sound very, very nervous and wants some answers of why there would be military tribunals. Now, we know that the countdown is continuing, and Q has been telling us that there's going to be indictments that are going to be unsealed. And this is going to start the ball rolling. And I think people are going to be shocked. People are going to say, whoa, what is this? And Q is telling us this is going to bring us together. So we'll have to wait to see what these are, but I believe this is the first batch. And I believe we're going to get these type of carpet bombs being dropped down, or tactical nukes being dropped down each time, each one of these countdowns, to make the deep state go further into their panic attacks and make them do things they normally wouldn't do, and make them worried and afraid. And we're going to see this begin in 6 days. And this is going to go on for many, many days, where we see these type of drops. And I think this is all being built up to corner these rats so there's no escape. And when Trump plays the last hand, there's going to be nothing for them to do. Remember, all of these drops leading up to the declassification, to the OIG report and everything else, it has to be done to educate everyone here in this country. Q has told us that, yes, there's going to be a small portion that will never, ever wake up. They're so brainwashed that nothing will ever bring them out of this sleep. But the majority of the people, as more and more of these drops out, and these are not just fake drops, these are actual facts that will be coming out. Maybe the first one, people will say, yeah, I don't believe it. But after the second, the third, the fourth, people are going to start to question it. People are going to say, okay, what is going on here? Because more and more facts are coming out. Now we're seeing arrests. Something is going on here. Let me look into it. And by the time Trump declasses and the OIG report comes out, people will then believe. And it will be a lot easier to bring the country together and to show who are the traitors, who has committed treason. And everyone during this period of time would have done a lot of research, checking into this and becoming aware of what was going on. If Trump declassed right at the beginning, no one would have believed. Everyone would have just shrugged it off. Now, things are very, very different. And you can see how this has been planned to make sure that when all of this comes out, people are on the same page. And what is the mainstream media going to do? They're going to be trying to figure out how to explain this. No one is going